Hello everyone, I am Lavanya. Now I am going to explain you about negative and positive. Now let us go through the question now. Consider a non-empty integer array in array which contains at least two integers and identify an outer array which is based on the given logic below. For each of the numbers in array, move all the negative integers to the beginning of the array and the positive integers to the end of the array while maintaining their in input order. Now, starting from the first number in the rearranged array, for each pair of the adjacent numbers will be num1 and num2. And now we have to find the difference between the num1 and num2 as num2 minus num1. And if the difference is greater than 1, we have to compute the sum of the missing numbers between the num1 and num2. And we have to store the sum in outer array. And if the difference is not greater than 1, means we have to add the 0 to the outer array. Now, by default, we'll consider 0 as a positive number here. Now, let us consider an example here. Here, the sample input is given as minus 5, 5, 1, minus 2, and 7. Now, according to the first logic they have given, now we will move all the negative numbers to the beginning of the array, like minus 5 and minus 2, and all the positive numbers will be at the end of the array, like minus 5, minus 2, 5, 1, and 7. And here we can see the list of the arrays which have been arranged as the given logic. And now, coming to the second logic here, and we have to consider as the first number and the second number. We have to find the difference between the first number and second number, and uh, we have to compare the uh, result as it is greater than one or not here. If one, we will sum all the missing elements between those numbers. If not, we will store the array instead of sum. Now, let us see this example here. After rearranging the elements in the given input, now let us consider the minus 5 as a num1 and here minus 2 as a num2. And we have to find the difference between num2 and num1, which means minus 5 minus of minus 5 means minus 2 minus of which means 3, like 3 is a greater than 1. We have to consider the missing elements between the minus 5 and minus 2, which will be minus 4 and minus 3. And the sum of the minus 4 and minus 3 will be minus 7. Here we can see minus 7 in the output. And now let us consider the num1 as a minus 2 and num2 as a 5. And the difference between 5 and minus 2 will be 3, which is greater than 1. So we will consider the missing elements between these two numbers as a minus 1, uh, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the sum of these elements will be the 9. So here we can see the 9 in the output also. And now let us consider the num1 as a 5 and num2 as a 1. And if the num1 minus num2 means we will give as a 1 minus 5. It will represent a negative number as a minus 4. Here 0 is greater than minus 4, which means we will add 0 here instead of any sum of the elements. So in now we'll consider these 1 as a num1 and 7 as a num2. And if we consider num1 as a 1 and 7 as num2 means 7 minus 1, it will be 6, which is greater than 1. So the missing elements between 1 and 7 will be 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. And the sum of these elements will be 20. Now we can see here in the output minus 7, 9, 0, and 20. Now let us dive into the code, how we will implement it in Python. So here is the code which is in Python. Now here I have taken a equals to input dot strip. And here, this strip, which means it reads the input from the user as a string, and it removes all the white spaces by using this dot strip here. And in the second line, I have taken a L equals to list of map int comma a dot split. And here it will convert these string into the list. And it will split the string by a commas like a dot split. And it converts all the string into the list by using these map and int comma here. And here I have taken as a negative and positive. For negative, we will consider the numbers which is less than 0. And here positive, we will consider the numbers which is greater than 0, which means uh, here I have taken as a negative equals to in the list which considers x for x in L if x is less than 0. Means it creates a non list of non all the negative integers in L, and it iterates over the element x in L, and it includes the new list if x is less than 0. And it will gather the all the negative integers like in the given here in the given above the example, we have the minus 5 and minus 2 in the given list. So we'll consider as a minus 5 and minus 2 at the beginning of the list. Now we will we can go through this positive. Here according to the negative integers, we will take the positive integers as which is greater than equals to 0, and we'll keep it as a end of the list. After the negative numbers we'll take the positive numbers, and we will add these both the negative and positive. Here we have added first negative and then positive, which means the beginning of the array will be the negative numbers, and the ending of the array will be the positive numbers. So this is the reason which why we have wrote like this. And here I have created an empty list here also for storing the result like some of the values here. Now here I have written the loop for I in range of length of rest minus 1, which means if the length here in the above example, the length of the uh, array will be the 4, and it will here in this loop it will take up to the 3, which means 0, 1, 2, and 3. So like that which means it will compare the two numbers itself. So it will take up to the 3 itself. And here it ensures the second to the last elements to the rest of I minus 1 here. And now here we'll consider as the n1 and n2, which is the n1 is represented as the first number of the list, and n2 represent as the second number of the list, and it will iterate by the help of the I value. If the I is 0 means the n1 value will be the first number and the n2 value will be the second number. If the I is 1 means the n1 value will be the index of 1, which means minus 2, and the rest of I plus 1 means the number beside the minus 2, it will be the 5 or something. And after that we will take the difference between the num1 and num2, which in the form of n2 minus n1 here. After calculating the difference, if the difference is greater than 1 means we will add all the missing elements in between those numbers, and we will append to the empty list here. We have considered an array equals to empty list. So we will append all the elements to that empty list. If the else or we will append 0 to that empty list. And at the last we have write this print join of map string here. The purpose of this it converts an element of array to a string by using the map string array, and it joins the strings with the commas, um, which we have to print the result like a minus 7 comma 9 comma 0 comma 20 for separating the elements. It will we have used here a comma dot join map of string comma and now it will print the result according to it. Now first we will run the code. Now we can see here the test case is passed here. So this is the explanation of the positive and negative. Thank you.